Thanks for listening. This video will cover the full Xeams quarantine report. So we already looked at the summary email report. Here's a recent one that came to my inbox today. If I click on this link, it's going to open the full quarantine. And we'll give it a second. Here it comes. So here's our full quarantine. This is the default page that it opens to. One of the things I like is that it sorts by date. You can also make it sort by subject or score. But what's the point of that? Date is great because the reason you're going to come in here, the number one reason you'll come in here is to look at email that came in recently. Because it's not, someone's saying I sent it to you and you're saying I don't have it. This is where you go. So you pull up this report. It is now almost 5 o'clock. This report came at 2:09. As you can see, this ESET, here's this ESET email that I released. Here it is in the report, and you can see all these emails came in after that. So when we look at this, you can select emails here. This selection toggler is pretty cool in that if you're training your filter, you can toggle and it will completely toggle the entire selection. So if you have nothing selected, it's like a select all. If you have a few of them selected, you can swap them out. You should never have to police your inbox though. These will all get expunged in 30 days no matter what. So you don't really have to go in here and manually mark things as good or junk. If you want to, you can, but it's not necessary. So just like the email, if you click on one of these, it will bring you to a summary page where you can see a preview of the email. Showing unsafe images will show you all the pictures. This is an email that came from Pottery Barn. You can view the code if you really care to. It'll show you the HTML behind the email. I don't see a need to do that ever. And then as I said in the other video, there's an add alert button that allows you, if you're expecting an email to come every day at a particular time or at a certain time of the week, you can add an alert that'll send you an email saying you didn't get it. I don't see a lot of people needing to do that, but if you do, it's there and we can help you set it up. So going back to this, the next field basically shows whether it was received with encryption or not, and that's not terribly useful. But the statuses are, you can see different statuses on the emails you're getting. So this will show you if there's an attachment, this will show you if you viewed it, this will show you if you have ever released it, and this will show you if you marked it good or marked it bad. The one I really like is the score column, because if you hover over these, it'll show you why it gave you the score it did. So you'll see things like found font size 1 pixel, so it's got fine print, it's got a regular expression of direct marketing, it's looking for certain words, it's got invisible text. There's all kinds of reasons why it's scoring something negatively. So you've got two actions here. One is download. I never see a reason to download an email, but if you wanted to, you could. It could be part of our troubleshooting process that we'll want to look at headers, in which case that might be useful. There's also this button, which is the restore email button, which is the same one you'll see in the spam quarantine report that comes out in your email. This will whitelist the sender. There's also a detail view, and the nice thing about this is it'll show you the email address that something's coming from, which can be useful. So this home link here and the main menu link take you to exactly the same place. This shows you how many messages were marked good, how many possible spam messages, and how many total spam messages came through during this period. So for me, it's looking at about 6 days, I guess, since 5 a.m. Down here, there's a nice search you can do. You can sort by junk, possible junk, good, or all. And I have a couple of examples. So one is if I search for the sender of pottery, you'll see all the Pottery Barn junk that has been coming ever since I accidentally ordered some furniture using my business account. Honestly, it's kind of good, because if it had come through on my personal account, I would have seen all this junk. The nice thing is I accidentally auto-filled my business account, and now I don't have to see any of it because the spam filter caught every single piece of message that came from Pottery Barn. Here's another example I thought I'd show you. A piece of junk mail that came through that was supposedly from Apple Pay. Oh no, Apple Pay was suspended on your device. This is spam, by the way. Clear spam. This is not from apple.com. It is from applepay.network. This is not Apple Pay. I'm going to show the unsafe messages. It sure looks legitimate, doesn't it? It's got the Apple logo. It even says Apple Pay. They stole the logo. If you click on this link, you're asking for trouble. They're going to ask you to log in as your Apple account, and you know what? You're not going to be able to log in, but they will steal your username and password. So you have to be careful. It may look like it's from Apple Pay. It's not. Our spam filter caught it. If I leave this, if I want to go back, so if you look at this, why did it score negatively? Well, it came from Germany. It doesn't have a DKIM signature. It is a phishing attempt. The sender name is forged for the domain, and the host name does not resolve to a valid IP address. There's so much wrong with this. So this is definite spam. Trust our filter. It's pretty smart. Yes, so anyway, I thought I'd show you guys that. So there is a nice search here if you're looking for something in particular. You got to be careful in this days to search for. If you set this to 1 and you start with the default date, it's only going to show you stuff coming in on April 2nd. So by default, it's going to go back 4 days, and the start date is going to be 4 days ago. So it's looking back through 4 days by default through the search. And that's that. So manage filters comes up as manage filtering options. There's a challenge response. This is called gray listing. This will slow down mail coming into your mailbox. The nice thing about it is when you do challenge response, it's basically requiring the sending server to respond to a challenge. And while that slows things down, it does cut back on spam a lot. But most of our clients don't like the fact that it slows things down, and we have it disabled on our end too. You can also restrict emails to only whitelisted senders. And I would consider doing this if I was getting a mountain of spam and they were getting through. You can do this. I don't know if I recommend it, because you are going to have to definitely police your quarantine report, and you're going to have to whitelist everything that gets through. You can uncheck the box to send a spam quarantine report, and that means you'll never get a report. You're going to have to know your login and password to get into this quarantine, and you're going to have to check it periodically. If you turn this off, this part won't matter, but you can adjust the times the reports come out. You could make it to where only one report comes a day, but you will get a report at midnight by default. But you could turn off all the other ones. If you do this long dashes, you will not get a report at that time. I personally like getting 5 reports a day. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. If you click on here, this is your whitelist, blacklist. You can see Great Rivers Greenway, St. Louis, wonderful organization. They are a client of ours, and I strongly believe in their cause personally. I whitelisted their domain just as an example. I get emails from them just fine, but I wanted to show what it looked like to whitelist an actual domain. It's going to look like this. Oops. So if you do that and you don't have an email address in front of it, it's going to whitelist everything coming from @grgstl.org. Same thing for blacklist. If I wanted to never get a Great Rivers Greenway email again, I could do the same thing on the other side. It would blacklist them completely. I have not blacklisted any emails or domains because the spam filter is pretty good, and it has definitely caught everything that I consider to be spam. So I didn't really have to train it. But if you are getting persistent junk mail from a particular domain or email address, this is a good place to go. You can set an out-of-office notification from here, but I don't recommend it. You're better off doing it from within Outlook or whatever email browser you're using. The missed email alert is kind of what we were talking about before. You can set this up to look for an email that comes at a particular time. Again, I don't see most people needing this, but it's there. Temporary email, same thing. I don't see most people needing this. There are particular reasons why people might want to set up a temporary email address and send from that. If you have need for that, I would contact us up first before trying to set it up. End-to-end encryption is nice. If you need to set up some kind of encryption and send encrypted email back and forth with someone, you can do it with this top secret in the subject line. There's another method where you add stuff down here and set passwords. You can talk to us if you want to learn how to use it. They have a tutorial on the site. Either way, this is useful. If you ever need it, it's here. The instructions are on this page. Import Wizard is something you will not need to use, and actually we are seeking a way to remove it from the menu for our clients. This is a way to pull data in from another server, and you will not need to use it. If you ever want to change your password, you can do it here. I don't recommend it. If you are accessing this from your spam quarantine report email, you will not need to change your password. You just need to find a reasonably recent spam quarantine report to get in. Two-factor authentication, we should have this turned on. We may not for certain clients. If you want to turn it on, we'll definitely help you do it. We recommend setting up two-factor early and often on as many things as you possibly can. And if you have any questions about this, please get a hold of us and we'll help. And then finally, you can log out here if you really want to, although the easy button is to just close the window. So that's it. That covers everything. We really hope that our clients will adopt the Xeams platform. We started using it several months ago. I will admit the first couple of weeks I was skeptical because it was catching a lot of false positives, but after maybe a week or at most 2 weeks of training, I really love it. It catches the things that are spam and it lets the things through that are not. I have very few problems with it, and I hope that most of our clients have the same experience. I know that experience has been true for most of the people here at Computer St. Louis. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope I covered everything that you needed to know. If you have any other questions, please contact your account manager or me, and we will be happy to answer your questions as best we can. Thank you very much.